In today's show, I'm looking ahead to Friday's action in the NBA. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com and at Yahoo Sports Australia. And you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Check out prizepicks.com and use the promo code NBA, or go to your app store and download the app today. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. We're here now to talk about Friday's action. There's a lot of games, 10 of them in fact. So we hope there's going to be 10. 10 games to talk about. Let's crack in, talk about them now. First one is Suns and Celtics. The last two games, Jalen Smith has played pretty well for Phoenix, taking some minutes away from JaVale McGee and doing just a pretty good job as the backup center. DeAndre Ayton is out again, so we want to watch Jalen Smith. Can he maintain that role? Or will he go and play 18 minutes while McGee gets 29? And then also with Crowder out, Cam Johnson starting. He had a good game and then not a great game against the Thunder. He's up and down. He is worth having for now. I don't think that will last long term, but for now, yeah, he's worth having. Well, for the Celtics, they are still without Dennis Schroeder. So Josh Richardson, we'll see what his role is. Marcus Smart will be back. So where does Richardson fit in? Does he get those 30 minutes? How does that impact Peyton Pritchard as well is something for us to watch. And then also Jaylen Brown, who last game had 36 shot attempts and 0 assists. He has really struggled in the two games without Jason Tatum. So watching whether he can rein in some of the foolishness, be a little bit more efficient, and help the Celtics maybe get a win. They have lost 3 consecutive games. The Bulls and the Pacers, the second game up. The Bulls will be without, once again, they won't be without Kobe White. They'll be without Alex Caruso. They'll be without Lonzo Ball. So Kobe White gets another start. Last game for Kobe against the Hawks was really good. They now take on the Pacers, who are dealing with their own COVID absences. Can White keep that rolling? I'm not sure, but it will be something to watch to see how much streaming value he actually does have. I think there is decent streaming value here in White. I don't think that it's anything that's going to last long term, but yeah. Good numbers. Ayo Dosunmu has been also playing really well. Very, very good defense from Dosunmu. We'll see if he can impact Karis LeVert in a negative way. Dosunmu also shot really well last game. I don't fully buy that, but just watching him develop into a solid NBA rotation player is really encouraging. And then for the Pacers, they are without Malcolm Brogdon and Chris Duarte due to COVID protocols. So who is going to have to step up there? Jeremy Lamb also out. I imagine Karis LeVert goes to point guard again, and then the option to start will be Keelan Martin, O'Shea Brissett, Torrey Craig. They'll be one of the guys that slides into that other spot. So LeVert should see his numbers remain high, especially his assist numbers remaining pretty high without Brogdon and him starting at point guard. And then what can Keelan Martin do? Can Martin become an option for us to stream for points, or will they go in a different direction there at the small forward position in place of Duarte/Brogdon? The Mavericks and the Kings. Will we get Luka Doncic back? That's the question here. Doncic has been out with an ankle injury /COVID for a couple of weeks now. He hasn't played for almost closing in on 3 weeks here for Doncic. I think he will return. And then what does that mean for Hardaway, who could also return, Reggie Bullock, who could also return, the play of Frank Ntilikina, the play of Josh Green? So many guys have the potential to return for this Mavericks team. Whether they do or not is a question mark, and then seeing how all that impacts things. Also on the impact of Jalen Brunson. Well, for the Kings, they've been starting Marvin Bagley the last 2 games. Bagley has played 28 minutes in those games, and interestingly, Terrence Davis was a DNP CD in the last contest. So it was a lot of Bagley and a lot of Chimezie Metu who hit the game winner. So how does Bagley's minutes look? Does it make him a 12-team league guy? Whispering, no it doesn't. But he can at least have some stream value. And then, can Richaun Holmes get his finger out of his ass? His minutes at least pushed up last game to 26. It's still not ideal, I'd like him to be getting 30 a night, and he should be getting 30 a night, especially when you back up either Damian Jones, Tristan Thompson, or Alex Len. But shout out to Damian Jones, who's been playing well. I want to see Holmes start to establish himself. Alvin Gentry, maybe Gentry just doesn't like him. Maybe Gentry doesn't see the value there. I don't know. I want to see exactly how that is going to pan out because it's been bloody frustrating. The Miami Heat, their last game was postponed. They should be right to go here. They are taking on the Houston Rockets. They have just signed Mario Chalmers. Yes, Mario Chalmers. They will be without Adebayo, Morris, Oladipo, Dedmon, Vincent, the Winter Soldier Max Strus, KZ Okpala, Udonis Haslam, and Zylan Cheatham. They have signed Kyle Guy, Nick Stauskas, Arik Holman, Mario Chalmers, and Haywood Highsmith. They could also get Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker back. So there's a lot of things, moving parts there. But with Strus and Vincent out, Caleb Martin is in line for a larger role. And he can become a stream option at the very least. And then also, with no Dedmon, maybe no Tucker, no Adebayo, we're watching Omer Yurtseven. I had a question in the mailbag show earlier today, asking just whether Yurtseven could be a 12-team league player when Bam returns. I highly doubt it, but he's playing at a high enough level to be at least someone that we have to consider can be in that role. For the Rockets, they are likely to get back KJ Martin, or maybe getting back KJ Martin. The wild thing, Jayshawn Tate's still in COVID protocols, but Martin has cleared them, so he could come back and he could start. Because there is an absolutely huge gaping hole at power forward.
Giggity!
David Nwaba has been filling that spot, and he's a good steal sort of option. But watch for KJ as well. And then Jalen Green, who's been really, really good in his 2 games since coming back from his hamstring injury. He's been playing at a really high level. And that is always going to be super encouraging to see your high draft pick start to play like a high draft pick, which he wasn't earlier on this season. So watching him to see whether he can continue that level of play is something that I want to be doing. So Jalen Green, obviously on the watch radar here for me today. But if you want something to do, when you want to take your Jalen Green knowledge and turn that into winnings, PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. You might have heard me talking about it before, and if you haven't checked it out, you are missing out. PrizePicks is the best NBA DFS prop game on the market, offering more NBA props than any other DFS prop operator, all the superstar blokes, as well as the low-minute scrubs. Shout out David Nwaba. When you deposit, use the code NBA, and you get 100% deposit match bonus up to $100. What you do, you get 2 to 5 entries, 2 to 5 player props, smash them all together. Doesn't even have to be from the one sport. You can do multi-sport entries. Put those 2 to 5 entries together. Points, assists, rebounds, steals, blocks, whatever you want to choose. Go the over-under. It's just you versus the projections, and if you win, you could get 10 times your entry fee back. So, use that award-winning app or their website, prizepicks.com. Don't forget to use our code NBA, and that's it. You get that 100% match deposit. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. If you're not playing PrizePicks, honestly, you don't know what you're missing. The Clippers and the Raptors. Reggie Jackson looks like he could return. So, we're watching Reggie Jackson's play, but what that also means for Eric Bledsoe, Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard, and even the usage of Marcus Morris Sr., who's been playing at a high level without Paul George, but also without Paul George and Reggie Jackson. So there will be somewhat of an impact, I think, on Morris. Morris remains a 12-team league guy, as does Reggie Jackson, and watching those two guys work together will be very interesting. But probably the thing I'm most interested in the entire slate of games on Friday is what the hell happens with the Toronto Raptors, because they have been one of the most hard-hit teams by COVID, and they will be getting back Scott Barnes, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Kem Birch, Precious Achiuwa, and Gary Trent. Pascal Siakam returned last game. Delano Banton also returning. So, what does this mean for the wiki Chris Boucher? He played 38 minutes last game, and it is not inconceivable to think he plays 0 minutes in this one. Because if they start a lineup of VanVleet, Trent, Siakam, Barnes, and Anunoby, that means that the bench would be Birch, Achiuwa, Boucher, Watanabe, Mihailuk. 4 of those blokes are bigs. Will they want to run with 4 bigs? Probably not. So does Boucher miss out? Birch, Achiuwa, Watanabe? Like, who misses out? I don't know how they're going to run that. So don't be surprised to see your elite Chris Boucher stream, and it has been a good stream while those guys are out, just completely snap to dust like Thanos has been there. That is a potential thing that can happen for Boucher. If he plays 28 plus minutes with all those guys healthy, I will absolutely do something stupid, and then I won't actually do it because it'll be that stupid. There is no way. There is no way he is playing those minutes with those guys healthy. And watching how they run that rotation is very, very key. The Atlanta Hawks, They are taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Hawks are starting to get players back from COVID. They will get Lou Williams back in this game, it looks like. Kevin Huerter is pretty close. So is Bogdanovic. So is John Collins. DeAndre Hunter could be only a week away from returning from his wrist injury, but at least getting Lou Williams back will help them here. Cam Reddish has been playing well. He's been playing a lot of minutes. That will not last, I don't believe. So watching how he looks in these games is going to be interesting, and to see how much sell high value you can get out of him. And then Malcolm Hill had a big game for them last time. Will there be any chance of that replicating? Probably not. But he played 29 minutes. He scored well. He got some steals. He's at least someone to watch with a bunch of blokes out on this team. While for the Cavs, this is a back-to-back for Cleveland, so we'll get a better idea after Thursday. But watching Isaac Okoro and Denzel the Hammer Valentine, along with the Panger, Kevin Pangos, Lamar Stevens, how these guys are going to fill in for the absence of Darius Garland, Chetty Osman, and of course, ravishing Rick Rubio. Maybe Jarrett Allen is back on Friday. He is still out for Thursday, and watching that will be pretty interesting as well. The Spurs and the Grizzlies, no DeJounte Murray for San Antonio. Will they go back to the Keita Bates-Diop starting option? I hope not. It's pretty stupid. Can Devin Vassell move into that role? Will they put Lonnie Walker into that position?
Hello.
Yeah, these are the questions I think we need to get answered. I want to watch Vassell. I want to watch Bates-Diop, and then how all those minutes get distributed. Well, for the Grizzlies, Desmond Bane has been playing at a super high level. I continue to maintain he is a sell-high player because he is getting so many shot attempts with Brooks and Melton still out, and now Konchar's out. See, if he has another big game here, you try to sell for a top 40 player. And then Steve Adams, who's very up and down. How will Steve Adams go in this matchup against San Antonio and Yucca Poeltl? Could this matchup work in his favor? I think it could. Is he a stream option? Maybe. But there's 10 games on. I don't know if I'd waste it on him. The Knicks and the Thunder. Obi Toppin is in line to start because Julius Randle is out due to COVID. So Randle will be out, Noel will be out, Derrick Rose will be out. Evan Fournier may or may not be out. He's dealing with ankle soreness that kept him out of last game. So Toppin should get a start and play good minutes. But does this also mean an improvement for Kemba Walker that he can actually run an offense without Julius Randle out there? Does it mean an improvement for guys like RJ Barrett, for Alec Burks, for Quentin Grimes? Does Grimes get another start in this game? So many questions, but Toppin and Walker are the big ones. And then for the Thunder, they could be missing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander again. He missed last game with that ankle soreness, but they will almost definitely be without Giddey and Baisley and Robinson Earl and Mann and Pokusevski. Aaron Wiggins, 3 really big games in a row for Wiggo, 4 starts in a row. Is he a starter when everyone is healthy? I think there's a chance of it. I'm not sure it's guaranteed, but I think there's a chance. He's at least a streamer for now. And then Lou Dort has been shooting horribly. Can he arrest that slide? I don't believe that he's a good shooter, so I'm not having a huge amount of faith in that personally. The Timberwolves and the Jazz. Minnesota's going to get some players back. Those players they're getting back are probably Goose, Anthony Edwards, and Jared Vanderbilt. They also might get the artist formerly known as Taurean Prince. So I want to watch Goose because he's always fun to watch, and he's going to return in a game without Towns and Russell. He could have 40-plus usage in this game. Big numbers incoming. That might mean bad things for Malik Beasley, but there is still an option for Beasley because Russell is sidelined. And then Jaden McDaniels. If Vanderbilt plays, what does McDaniels' role look like? Will McDaniels play 25 minutes or 30 minutes? He's been playing a shit ton. 39, 37, 36, and 36 the last 4 games for Jaden. And if Vanderbilt is back, how do they distribute those minutes between the two? That is key. And then for the Jazz, does Donovan Mitchell return? Because he has been out for the last 2 with that back injury.
He's done. He's good.
If he is out, and this is the first game of a back-to-back for Utah, how does he look? And what does that mean for the other players? I think there's a chance he sits, and then Mike Conley sits the Saturday, boosting the value of Joe Ingles, while Hassan Whiteside continues to play really well as a backup.
The world.
And there can be value for him in situations like this when you need to stream someone in for a back-to-back scenario. The last game is the Blazers and the Lakers. We know that Portland is going to be missing a bunch of guys with Covington, McCullum, Nurkic, McLemore, Zeller, and Smith, along with Watford and Blevins, all still out. So Larry Nance gets another opportunity at center to be a 12-team league guy. He is for now, and then we'll see what happens later on. And then if you're in deeper leagues, Cameron McGriff, top-tier name, absolutely great name. Sounds like it's a Back to the Future character. But McGriff has played 13 and 20 minutes the last 2 games. playing some backup wing power forward type minutes with all those guys out. If you're in a deeper league, 20 minutes from a guy that no one's heard of can actually be relatively useful. I think he's been okay. And then for the Lakers, Malik Monk has played 30 minutes in the last 2 games, which is good. He needs to continue to do that. They might be getting back Trevor Ariza. He is out of COVID protocols and he's just doing conditioning, while Austin Rivers is off the injury report completely. So, not Austin Rivers, Austin Reeves. Sorry. So he could be returning to action. So how they run the Monk and Reeves minutes, as well as the unnecessary 30 minutes of Avery Bradley, it should be Monk playing 30, Reeves playing 30, or 25 at least. These are the best 2 options at those wing positions. But giving minutes to Bradley and spuds like Bazemore at times would be interesting. And how much do they play Stan Johnson, who's been playing a lot? I think Stan Johnson's going to get a full-time contract, and DeAndre Jordan's going to get the arse. But I don't know how they're going to fit them all in here. So big questions that need to be answered from the Los Angeles Lakers. But if they're looking to get a healthy treat, and if some of these guys are looking to have a New Year's resolution of being better, maybe they need Built Bar. Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar ever, and it's also great when you're looking for a snack. So go to your cupboard. If you're looking to stop being a fatty like me, go into your cupboard, find those snacks that are high in calories and high in sugar and high in fat, chuck them in a bag, and Jack Armstrong them.
Get that garbage out of here!
And replace them with Built Bar, which are low calorie, low fat, low sugar, but high in protein. The candy bars are 240 calories at least in a bar. These blokes, 130. 130 for a Built Bar. And the flavors are delicious. Cookies and cream is the GOAT. It's always going to be the GOAT, but there's so many other good ones. Coconut, raspberry, orange, mint brownie. Special editions they're throwing out there as well. Lemon almond cheesecake, that's a great one. White chocolate raspberry cheesecake, another brilliant one. When they bring that out, make sure you snap that up. So go to Built.com, use our promo code, which is LOCK15, LOCKED15, and get yourself boxes of Built Bars. Built Bar. Built. Different. All right, let's look at some back-to-back stream options. We're looking at some Houston Rockets players because the Rockets play the Friday, Saturday back-to-back. That's even if you have room on your Friday roster. So David Nwaba and Josh Christopher. The designer Armani Brooks is another guy there. The Utah Jazz, Joey Ingles and Rudy Gay. Conley's going to miss one of these games. Mitchell might miss one as well, so value for both of those guys. The Bulls with Kobe White and Javonte Green. And then the Spurs with Dougie McDermott. Maybe it's Keita Bates-Diop as well. Lonnie Walker could be stream options there as well. Just looking at Friday's games, we've got Obi Toppin, Damian Jones, amazingly, Caleb Martin, Justin Holiday, the Panger, Kevin Pangos, Emmanuel Quickley, Josh Christopher, Kobe White, Marvin Bagley, and Aaron Wiggins. And for deeper leagues, all those other guys apply, but if these guys are available, other options for you. O'Shea Brissett, David Nwaba, Keelan Martin, Denzel the Hammer Valentine, Rudy Gay, Armani Brooks, Brandon Clark, Isaiah Roby, Javonte Green, and Torrey Craig, and in points leagues. These guys are available in over 50% of leagues. JaVale McGee, Obi Toppin, Nasir Little, Marvin Bagley, Caleb Martin, Isaac Okoro, Patrick Beverly, Nathan Knighter, Malik Monk, and Eric Gordon. Guys, that'll do it for me today. Don't forget to follow this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on the Odyssey app. Give it a thumbs up. Leave your comments down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.